Good morning, everybody. Today is one of those Sundays when all three readings seem to converge and point towards something important, something we all can pick a lesson from. The first reading talks about Naaman. He was an outsider. First and foremost, he was not a Jew. He was a foreigner. And on top of all this, he was a leper. Naaman stood at a distance, but Naaman, once healed, had a plea. Allow me to bring home 2 mule loads of earth so that he could remain connected with the God of Israel, the God of healing, the God of compassion, the God who made him whole once again. In the second reading, we hear the story of St. Paul, disconnected, disowned, delivered to the hands of his enemies. He was in chains. He was alone. He was probably depressed. He was suffering. He was disconnected, yes, but never alienated. And God was just a petition away. Even as in the first reading, God was just a plea away. Let me bring home 2 mule loads of earth so that I can remain connected with your God. And so Paul was saying, if we have died with him, we shall also live with him. He had that conviction of faith that once you go home to God's bosom, you're never far. God is but a prayer away. In the gospel, we have 10 lepers, and we are told that they stood at a distance. They were outsiders. They were detached. They were disconnected. They didn't deserve any special treatment. But God was, again, just a prayer away. And so they cried out with full voice, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us, even as they stood at a distance, unworthy, undeserving, and probably unexpecting of a response. What is our story? We are also disconnected from God in many ways. We are more connected to YouTube. We are more connected to TikTok, the best in Southeast Asia, at least for the young people, digital natives. Even if we are the lowest in IQ, we are the best in TikTok. We are disconnected from God in many ways, more than just one. And we stand at a distance. A gap stands between us and God on account of our sinfulness, on account of our selfishness, on account of our false narratives, on account of fake news, on account of ideologies. We choose what to believe, and what we believe is what TikTok and Facebook say. We stand at a distance, and a big gap stands between us and God. But God is just a plea away. God is just a petition away. God is just a prayer away. Lord Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. That's the first lesson. The second lesson, we are all lepers. If we are lepers, then we are unwanted, we are ignored. And some of us, indeed, are not just ignored. We are not treated well by people who don't mean well to us. Definitely, Ukraine is not treated well by somebody who thinks that the Soviet Union should be resurrected. One who has ambitions to bring back the empire. And he idolizes, of all people, a forgettable figure by the name of Alexander III for one simple reason. He didn't want the teaching of Ukrainian language all over Ukraine, but they had to be taught Russian. Ethnocentrism, masyadong believe sa sarili. We are separated from God when we believe too much in ourselves, in our own self-made stories, our own false narratives, our own sense of greatness, And Russia thinks that just because he was in leadership for 20 years, the voice of God comes through Patriarch Kirill, who tells them that if they go to war for the motherland, their sins will all be washed away. Faulty theology, if ever there was one. I cannot believe even in a patriarch like that, who was a tobacco patriarch, he got rich because of tobacco monopoly. Somebody who tells people to kill in the name of God. False narratives, faulty theology, fake news, ideology of totalitarianism. This is what it's all about. God is but a petition away. We are all lepers. The beautiful thing about the story of Luke is that he did just not refer to the leproi, hoi leproi. That's the word in Greek for lepers. He called them leproi andres. It means men who were lepers. They were just, hindi sila bingot, hindi sila pilay, hindi sila pandak, hindi sila temits, hindi sila negro, hindi sila walang kung ano naman tawag natin sa ating kaaway. They were men who happened to have leprosy. It's different if you call somebody hoy pilay. That's name calling, that's labeling. Luke was not guilty of labeling them. He called them men who were lepers. Leproi andres. And the focus was on the aner, the andros, the andres, the men who happened to have lepers. They were outsiders, but not from the point of view of God. God does not consider any one of you outsiders, but we are the ones who keep ourselves at a distance, keep God at arm's length. We watch the Mass on a screen. We watch the Mass on a screen, even if you can already go to Mass physically. And while watching the Mass, well, of course, we're cooking adobo. We're minding the washing machine. We are also cleaning the floor. We are preparing for tomorrow's work day, for the whole week. We are doing other things except do the Eucharist, which is do the act of thanksgiving. We are all lepers. We are all leproi andres. We are all human beings who have some form of leprosy. We stand outside, we stand at a distance, but God is but a prayer away. And if we can learn a lesson from Naaman, God is a petition away. Give me 2 mule loads of earth. I want to be connected. St. Paul was disconnected but never alienated. He kept in touch with the flock that he loved. He kept in touch with the God who called him to service. He was never alienated. He remained connected. And the big connection that the 3 readings are teaching us all about has to do with the connection of gratitude. Gratitude is an attitude that is very far from our Filipino attitude. We don't care. We receive graces, but ito lang. We receive a gift and we say, dapat lang. Tungkulin nyo yan. We receive graces from above and trabaho yan ng Diyos. We receive favors from the church and say, trabaho yan ng mga pare. No, not the word of thank you. We Filipinos find it very hard to say thank you. We don't say thanks. But gratitude is an attitude. And more than an attitude, it is a response. It's a pattern of behavior. The pattern of behavior shown us by Naaman, 1 out of 10. All 10 were cured, but only 1 was healed. Only Naaman was healed, or rather the 10, only 1 of the 10 in the gospel story was healed. Curing, you can pray for curing while buying biogesic in Mercury, and you get cured. But healing is a totally different ball game altogether. It has to do with the whole person. Being healed means being connected, being rehabilitated, being one with the God of healing. And therefore healing is what we need to pray for. God is but a prayer away. and God is but a little thank you away. 1 out of 10 came back to say thank you. He was healed. 9 out of 10 were cured but never healed. They did not reconnect. They did not come back. They did not say thanks. They had the wrong attitude. They remained standing at a distance. They remained standing outside. They refused to go in and be part of the glorious liberty of the children of God. The glorious liberty that leads us to do the right things and do them rightly. And it begins with saying, thank you. We begin this week by doing Eucharist, the great act of thanksgiving that is open to all of us humans, all of us believers. Let us not waste this opportunity to thank God for His goodness, for His gift of healing, for His mercy, and for His compassion.